Kathy Ann, she's a filmmaker. She said Pence needs to stop mansplaining, dominating, and gaslighting the women tonight. There's a lot there. You got my feelings on the mansplaining part of it, but the gaslighting is when, in effect, it's a phrase that sort of was born online because it's the idea that you go sort of so over the top with your response to somebody that it burns down the whole house. So instead of making like a cogent point, if you're arguing with somebody, instead of making like just a sensible point, you gaslight them, meaning you just say something so crazy or so over the top that you've just destroyed the whole thing. Does that seem like what quiet Mike Pence, who barely moves when he speaks and is respectful and nice and actually looked at her, did that seem like he was gaslighting? I don't think so, Kathy. All right. Think about it this way. These people that say, okay, you can have 8-month abortions. Doesn't matter why you want an 8-month abortion, you can have an 8-month abortion. Well, now generally those are the people who also will tell you that they're for gay people. Now when science is able to actually identify the sexuality of a child, and now a Christian conservative, forget Christian conservative, and anyone says I found out that I'm 8 months pregnant and my child is gay, but I don't want a gay child, I should be allowed to have an abortion, the lefty's gonna say yes. I don't know, they're gonna have to pick, am I for gay people or am I for abortion? So you have to confront them with these ethical dilemmas, and usually you'll watch their heads explode because they're not that good at thinking these things through. I dare make a pro-Trump comment. I don't know if I'm allowed.
Will certainly be censored by the Ministry of Truth on the internet.
Somebody's not going to be happy about this. But in many ways, when I was rereading it, I kept thinking, man, what they needed was a Trump. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because what was Trump, or what is Trump? He just sort of broke through all of this. If you're talking about how do you break the duopoly, how do you break the false choices, how do you break political correctness, all of these things, who has been the greatest breaker of those things? It's been Trump. So it's like, in a weird way, if the book had ended and there suddenly was this person who was just willing to do it for some very bizarre reason, and perhaps he was orange and had weird hair, like then I guess you see some hope, but you don't get the orange. Okay. Let's see. Happy birthday, Dave. Keep doing what you're doing. Love your show. Will you go on Joe Rogan's podcast? And will you have Libertarian presidential VP candidate on your show before the election? Will I go on Rogan's podcast? I asked him, and our PR people asked him about a bajillion times to go on for my book. We did not get a response as far as I know, so I don't know what happened there. It's a little weird for me to say that publicly. I don't know what happened.
Dave, you're Jewish.
Yeah.
I feel, as I was listening to you for the first time, I feel kind of like I bet a lot of Jews felt in Germany, where you're like, but that's so crazy. They'd never do that. And you look back now and go, all of the signs were there. They were telling you what they were going to do. How did you miss it? Am I crazy for thinking that?
You know, it's one of those things where you start thinking it and you go, oh, could we really be there? And that's part of why it's so hard to think about it in a clear way. Could we really be there? And I actually think the answer is yes. If these people were to get the institutional power, they will do all of the things that they purport Trump to believe in and to do that he never does.
This next question is perhaps more insulting to you, but it's also meant to be an insult to me. I'll read it and explain what it means. And so I apologize for this comment, Dave. I think it's a shitty comment, but here we go.
Should I take a drink? I could do a spit take.
Yeah, do that. Yeah.
Should I have it in my mouth?
Yeah, here we go. Please don't pull a Barron, he means Bishop Barron, and fail to at least hint at conversion, especially due to him being a sodomite. And so let me say why I think that's a shitty thing to say.
Are you a sodomite?
Yeah, no. I love that you've been in the hot seat for so long now that this stuff doesn't bother you at all. It's like,
I suspect this person in their own belief system is probably a sinner, right?
Yep.
Like I don't, as long as this person is not doing something to try to legislate my life, or as long as you're not doing something to try to legislate my life, well, then you're entitled to your opinions. What you may or may not think about my sexuality or something, it doesn't really mean that much to me. I mean that with all due
Especially
respect.
if you say it like that.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, all right.
It's like
So
someone comes up to you in the
think
street and pokes their tongue out and runs away. You're like, not sure what to do with this, you know? Just scrolling through.
a lot of sodomite.
Yeah. There's a lot of anti-Semitism that I wasn't aware of until I said I was going to interview you. Like, people are like, yeah, there's some assholes on the internet. Life is more about legislation. We want you to go to heaven. All right, good. I'm glad. I'm sure Dave's glad that you want him to go to heaven.
Thank you. Yeah, show us this phone. This old.
Is Samsung makes it. I visited that company in Korea.
Yeah.
Samsung.
And it's ringing right now.
It is. Hello? Hey, Cannon, where are you?
I just got back to school from our game.
Oh, you didn't have a game today?
We had two. Dad, I had to get up at 6 a.m. Our game was in Clarksville. Halfway to Vegas.
I got a list. You got a doubleheader this coming Saturday.
Yeah, we had a doubleheader today, too.
How did you do?
Larry.
We lost the first one and we won the second, and I finally got my first college hit. 6 and 7 at bats with 2 singles and a walk.
All right, Ken, when am I going to see you? Tonight I'm tied up. Tomorrow I got to do that. How about Thursday? How about Friday? Okay, I'll be there. I love you, Ken.
Did you hear the news? I love you.
Okay, talk to you tomorrow. What? What?
They're the Dodgers or no?
No, what?
The Dodgers got Mookie Betts and David Price.
Today? That's great. The Dodgers.
We gave up Josh Peterson to the Angels in a 3-way trade, and we gave up. No, we got someone from the Angels. We got a rookie. He was a rookie last year. He's an infielder. He's a Dominican guy.
Bye. Well, folks, the Dodgers got Mookie Betts.
But this Trump win, it's a pushback on big tech. It's a pushback on mainstream media. Like all of you people who have consistently gotten everything wrong, you did it again. You got it wrong again. And you losers. And now I'm going to do this will be a little bit of a patting myself on my own back. You losers at the Lincoln Project, like you people who clearly can't maintain an erection so that you then decide that you have to spend your life just being against one thing, this orange man. It's like, you guys got to go away now. And Chris Hayes, that little dork on MSNBC, Trump and the right, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. But that doesn't mean we can't mock you guys or at least ignore you guys. Like all of you people who've gotten everything wrong. Bill Kristol, you've gotten everything wrong. David Frum, you've gotten everything wrong. You guys got to go away now. But all of these people who just got everything wrong, who have refused to see the world as it is and could only see the world as they wanted it to be, it's like, no. And the pollsters, you guys got everything wrong. How is it? I am one guy. I sit here. My producer, Michael, is in the room. It's a small room. It's about, 12 feet by 12 feet. I got my dog at my feet. I got Michael here, and we write out a couple things, and then I do this show. And for some reason, what I've been able to do, makes a lot more sense to a lot more people than the nonsense that's coming out of mainstream media. If we're going to say trust the scientists, which is a silly notion, right? There's a lot of evil scientists out there. There's a lot of bad guy scientists out there. Have you ever seen a science fiction movie? I mean, not every scientist is right about everything. And by the way, you know what happens in science? You're not going to believe this, guys. There are often discoveries that then get debunked by things after that as we get finer instruments and more information and the rest of it. Science is often in the business of debunking science. That's the beautiful thing, So Does he end up signing bills that increase the debt and the rest of it? Yeah, because the whole system is out of whack. There's no money left, and yet we keep, okay, more stimulus. We have literally no money.
How much debt are we in right now?
Trillions and trillions of dollars, and it's going up. I think we just signed another $2.2 trillion stimulus. It's like the number. How do we get out? Well, I hate
Are we
to tell
ever
you.
going to get out of this? Or is it just you go bankrupt and you say
Can I
start
whisper?
again?
Can I whisper how we get out? I mean, it's called war. The sad truth is it seems to me that we're in an almost unavoidable conflict with China now. They have so much of our debt that we know we can never pay it back. There's nothing, like short of like some sci-fi, we find a planet somewhere that has unobtainium like in Avatar, and we mine it and sell it to the Chinese here, although we would get in a war over who's gonna get there first. Like, there are debtors, and we've got more weapons than our debtors right now. Talk about a mafia move. It's like, we sort of know, we can keep borrowing from them because we got all the nukes, and they've got some stuff, but we've got bases everywhere. It's a seriously depressing, like, unpleasant thing to think.
They got more people. Can't they just create more weapons and have more money?
They got more people. I suspect they're probably cloning people too. That's a whole other thing. I mean, we know we can clone dogs, and you can clone sheep, or we can all that kind of stuff. And it's like, if we can clone dogs right now, which there's commercial cloning of dogs happening right now.